warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harris Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The story we're about to see is
appropriate.
True. The names have
The
been changed
dragnet continues in New Orleans. Former NOPD officer, part of Mayor LaToya Cantrell's executive detail, Jeffrey Vappy, has been indicted by a 22-person federal grand jury. 8 counts. That's right, Mr. Drew Brees. It is, in fact, New Orleans, Louisiana. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Are you kidding me? That was a quick week. You got to like that. I've often said the 2-day weekend goes by slower than 2 days of work week. Some people disagree. Anyway, that 5-day work week blowing by. 4 o'clock hour. That means about an hour from now, we'll be blowing that 5 o'clock whistle, officially ending the work week, officially cutting the ribbon on this weekend. Yeah, you're right. Gotta like that. Hey, I can't help it with this weather. I can't help it. Call your favorite meteorologist. Boy, just like rain every single day, huh? Just get what you want to get in, ideally in the morning, and it might rain in the morning. But either something rolling in or something self-created because it's so hot and humid. By afternoon, it starts dumping water. But thunder showers. Yesterday was crazy, huh? That was a deluge. That picked up steam out of nowhere very quickly and dumped a few inches of rain on the city in like an hour, hour and a half. It's crazy. Metro area. Anyway, glad we're heading towards the weekend on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. And yeah, what I started out with is correct. Former NOPD officer, part of Mayor LaToya Cantrell's executive detail when he was an NOPD officer. Jeffrey Vappy has been indicted by a 22-person federal grand jury, 8-count indictment. 7 counts of wire fraud, 1 count false statement lying to the feds. Lying to the feds about the relationship with the mayor. This is kind of crazy. But the mayor and Vappy, obviously, it wasn't a big secret. I didn't care about the relationship, about their personal life, only if it interfered with my life, taxpayer dollars being used, that type of thing. And that was exactly the case. That was exactly the case. There is some stuff. I'm going to read the entire U.S. Attorney, Eastern District of New Orleans release. But one thing from it, quote, this is Mayor LaToya Cantrell and Officer Jeffrey Vappy, quote, exchanged personal and romantic messages and photographs via an encrypted instant messaging application to avoid detection and continue their relationship. Vappy was asked numerous times by the feds about it, denied anything, denied a relationship, denied kissing the mayor, any kind of sexual, any of it, denied it all. And now it appears to be relevant because of not the personal nature, because it's payroll fraud and the mayor. This thing is getting crazy. This is where politics and compromising your integrity, not compromising to get something done, compromising your integrity, your morals, your ethics, if they ever existed in the first place. But this is mind-blowing and mind-boggling. I mean, you think about the dynamic here. First black female mayor. Potentially the first black female police chief permanently, not on an interim basis. Michelle Woodfork. Clearly, Mayor LaToya Cantrell's choice. Until Gordon Russell, Times-Picayune reporting, the feds are suggesting Cantrell didn't appoint Michelle Woodfork as the NOPD chief in part because she okayed discipline against Jeffrey Vappy. Woodfork was doing her job as a cop for 30-something years with the superintendent's job on the line, and then gets in this quagmire. I'm just trying to get this superintendent's job. I'm doing the best I can. Fortunately, the mayor makes the appointment, and she's on my side. Now she gets into this relationship with one of my officers and wants me to wink, wink, look the other way. Not only can I not do that, I have to discipline him. So I give Michelle Woodfork a lot of credit for essentially putting the superintendent's gig on the line to do the right thing and discipline Officer Jeffrey Vappy. And Cantrell apparently did not like that, and the feds are suggesting that cost Woodfork the gig. That's just side chatter. It's just mind-blowing where politics with an agenda, politics where corruption is involved with an agenda, just can go straight downhill for the taxpayers. This side stuff where, I mean, if you're like black, female, and civil rights and firsts, this one was blown by the black female mayor to appoint the black female police chief because she got into a relationship with an NOPD officer. And the police chief in the interim role disciplined the officer, did the right thing. That officer, Jeffrey Vappy, indicted today. 8 counts, federal grand jury. We'll see what happens. A lot of the time, it's not pleading not guilty, and then it's pleading guilty, cooperating, pleading guilty, not cooperating, just to a lesser charge, out of the picture. We'll see what's happening. I would think in August, in a few weeks, there'll be an indictment for Mayor LaToya Cantrell, primarily for receiving gifts, money, something of value for returning favors. Kind of a C. Ray Nagin 2.0. The Middle District Court of Louisiana has ordered a halt on the law mandating 10 commandments in all Louisiana public school classrooms, from nursery school through college, universities. Have to wait until November at least. To be continued. All we do know is this legislation is already costing the taxpayers of Louisiana money. Some will justify it. That's what the lawmakers are hoping for. Man, this is a Jesus thing. This is the 10 commandments. You're going to put a price tag on this? Yeah, when it's something illogical and irrational. And my Jesus is going, hey, I don't need the 10 commandments in Louisiana school classrooms. Not giving that a thumbs up. That's what my Jesus is saying. I mean, where would it stop? Where would it stop? It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Young's Dry Cleaning Yeah, I know not the most sizzle and splash and pizzazz, like somewhere to go have fun or a concert or some kind of announcement like that. But pretty much everybody needs a dry cleaner out there. Young's just happens to be the best. They've been at it over 8 decades, since before the United States got into World War II. Young's Dry Cleaning here in New Orleans was taking care of you. They've been taking care of me for decades, my mom even longer, some folks longer than that. 84 years of excellence in New Orleans institution. Want to experience the best dry cleaner? It's easy. youngsdrycleaning.com. They've got walk-up locations. You can find out where. youngsdrycleaning.com. Get on their free pickup and delivery list, home or office, East Bank or West Bank. youngsdrycleaning.com. Or find out where their manless locker locations are located. You dump your dirty stuff off in a safe, secure Young's locker. 2 short days later, pick it all up perfectly dry cleaned. Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of those locations. Maybe a Young's Express manless locker location right under your nose where you live or work. youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fletcher Mackel joins us as he does every Friday afternoon. What up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. How are you?
Doing well.
Enjoying my Friday before I leave for Paris this weekend to cover the Olympics.
Nice. I hope you say just like that when you're there, just like just like I would do. Paris. I did say the Grand Palais the other day, and it even when I heard myself say it, I thought, boy, I sound kind of yatty saying that. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I catch myself. I'm just like, my God, that's so yatty. But, when you're in front of, you're like Vets and Severn, it doesn't matter. You're in Paris. It's like, oh, boy. Anyway, yes, Fletcher Mackel has taken the NBC Paris affiliates job. It's sort of a weird move. He's going back to his roots. He'll be doing weather for XTLN television, Channel 14 in Paris, France. It's starting next week. So this is a bye-bye forever for Fletch. He's not coming back ever, and he's going to stay in Europe from now on. And it might have something to do with this federal warrant, but, what the hell? Hey, Fletch, congratulations on the new job at the France affiliate.
Thanks. Good news is international calling. I can still join you on Fridays.
Yep, I like that. And I don't believe much of that federal warrant, they have against you. I 60, 70, 80% might be true, but all of it's not true. I can guarantee that, folks.
Okay. Are we moving on?
Yeah, we're going to move on. You want to get to reality? Fletch, you're covering the Olympics. And I like this. Not only for Channel 6, you're covering the Olympics for a lot of NBC affiliates all around the country, aren't you?
I am, in fact, yes. My reports could pop up on any NBC affiliate in the country, and I think there's like 210 TV markets. So it's fair game for anyone to pull the reports that I'll be doing. But it'll be a lot of fun. My brother, and I know Travers has done your radio show when he was in South Korea and when he was in Brazil covering the Olympics, and so I'm getting to go to Paris to just kind of drink it all in, and pre-game reports and post-game reports and flavor of the city reports, all that stuff. Yeah.
Have you been to Paris?
I have never been to Paris. I've been to London a few times with the Saints when they played there. I think you and I talked about it. I know your sports days from another life when the Saints played like in Japan and London. I think you told me you may have gone. I went to London with the Saints and enjoyed that, but I have never been to Paris.
Man, you're gonna
I have some news that we're going to be talking about. I'm actually going to be taping a segment for WDSU about the Saints will be playing a game in Paris in the near future as the NFL expands to other markets like they are Brazil. The Saints are going to be heading to France. The date isn't set, but they'll be the first NFL team to play a regular season game there.
In the next few seasons.
Yeah, they're still deciding what date. I think 25 is a bit premature, but it could be, but more like 26, 27. And the Saints are like the territorial partner with the NFL for France. And so once the dust settles on the Olympics here, it's going to be pedal on the metal to get an NFL game there, like they have in London, and they're going to have the first one.
No, that's genius. I mean, what other NFL team has a connection to France like we do?
No, none. And the NFL teams are partnering up with certain markets and in kind of, I want to say, kind of like marking them as their own, so to say. And the Saints announced this a few years ago, that their official European partner is the Paris, France. And so again, it's not like it's a huge surprise, but I know it's more than a conversation. They're actually in the semi-planning phase right now.
How many weeks will you be in Paris, Fletch?
So I'm leaving this weekend, and I come back after the closing ceremony on the closing ceremony is the 11th. I get back on Wednesday the 14th.
Wow. So that's like it's about a 3 week.
Like 20-something days, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I don't think you can just leave the dog inside with a bowl of water and a bowl of food, dude. You got to do a little more than that.
The good news is I do not have any pets right now, so the house will be locked up. Judy Mack, my mother, will be checking on it to make sure that it's all good. Knock on wood, my neighborhood in Midcity has been a very safe haven and no issues. And so that is good, that I don't have to, beg my mom or a friend, like how you have your guy, Blue Boy. Is that his name?
Yeah, totally. Blue Boy barking away. Yep.
Yeah. And so that, when Blue Boy starts barking, I know we're done. But no Blue Boy for me to worry about.
Fletch, when you come back, if your house is like egged or rolled like old school, I had nothing to do with that.
God, that takes me back. Rolling people's houses is like a teenager with the toilet paper. That was such a, an innocent time, I feel like.
Egging it was good too. The egg cracks and the crap rolls down the side of the house. You throw a dozen eggs at a house, it's not pretty.
No, you're right. I think the egging, I think I was probably a little bit more timid to go that far because I thought if the egg breaks a window, we're in real trouble. Whereas like the toilet paper was just like, okay, this is just all in good fun.
Yeah, the stuff we did, at least some of the older kids in our neighborhood in the 70s, out near where you live, Gene Gordon, all that, Leon C. Simon, lakefront kind of Gentilly area. It's like lawsuits today and tens of thousands of dollars in damages, like the garbage can leaning against the door and push the doorbell, and they open the door and the garbage can falls in with liquid whatever in it, or launching bottle rockets through the mail slot that goes inside the house. And these things don't roll today, thank God, in 2024. People go to jail now in their lawsuits, and that's probably a good thing, Fletch.
It's true. You're right. Like, reel it in a little bit. But
Jeez.
Yeah, of a time and of a place. And I think that time and place has gone to the wayside.
Boy, the 70s and 80s. When I got out of those decades, I was like, those don't need to repeat themselves. And then,
But you know what the funny thing is I see these, I don't know if they're like memes or graphics or whatever you call them now. And I love some of these Twitter handles and Instagram sites, like where they show like the hose and the kid drinking from like the hose. And it's like, this was a water break when I was a kid growing up. And it's like, and it's true. Like, I remember turning the hose on and drinking out of the hose. And now it's like, I'm not quite sure you'd ever see that again.
No, that's hysterical. All right, Fletch, what, about 22, 23 years at Channel 6?
22 in August. Yeah, at the end of August.
Yeah, I don't want to scare all the chickadees out there in television and radio land, but Fletch, you're closing in on the big 5-0 in a few years, right?
More than or less than a few years. How about that?
Yeah, don't pull an Eric Paulson on me and like, Eric, how old are you? I had a bologna sandwich the other night. Just changing the topic. Geesh. All right. Anyway, so you 20-something years at Channel 6, New Orleans native, closing in on 50, just entrenched in this gig, market leader, all that stuff, known, recognized. You go to Paris, 21 days, you're knocking out these reports. They're getting picked up by the NBC affiliate in, Miami and Philly and New York and Chicago and LA, San Fran, Seattle, Denver. one of these big markets calls you, Fletch. Love what you're doing, Fletch. Send us a tape, man. We want you. We want you to be our number one sports guy. We want you to be our number one sports guy reporter. Why don't you create something you'd like to do in Los Angeles, in Seattle, in Denver, in Phoenix, in Miami? What are you going to say to that?
Yeah, one, I don't know if those calls are coming. And two, I'm perfectly happy and content living by Bayou St. John, coming on your radio show, hanging out with the people I hang out with. Maybe I've become a little too comfortable, but I'm good. I could go visit those places, but I think it's fun to romanticize that stuff, but I'm just not quite sure that's the way it happens either. But if it did, I'd cross that bridge when I got there, but I don't think it's happening, and I'm not sure if it's the path I'm on.
No, I'm with you. And I love the word content. Like, I think everybody wants to be happy, but I think happy is like a peak emotion. And when that's happening, you want to cling to that, but it's fleeting. You're not happy 24/7, 365. You're not sad or depressed, but you're content. That's, I think, a goal in life, to be content and have these peaks of happiness as often as possible. And no, I'm with you. I don't think it's complacency. New Orleans is a pretty damn good place to live, even with all our crazy dysfunction.
I would agree with you. I think I've said this on your show before. Matthew McConaughey is not a New Orleanian, but he's worked here, and he described it as beautifully messy. And I would agree with him. But I always, will continue to forever champion the city and hope we can continue to move towards greatness and find a path to be better than we are now. But I still think there's charm and history and character and uniqueness, and it's something that kind of you and I were born with and only probably realized as adults how cool it is. But there's something about it that gets in you. Yep. And you want to be a part of it.
Yep. Fletch, hang on. We're visiting with Fletcher Mackel from WDSU Channel 6 Sports. Corey Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Midcity's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scot Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, if you have air conditioning needs, because it's still hot out there, I don't care if it rains and the clouds are rolling by. That's a nice break, but it's still hot. You need AC help. Total Maintenance is there in Baton Rouge, in New Orleans. Total Maintenance is there. Over 40 years, fair and honest Lucas and the boys, air conditioning experts that come immediately. What more do you need? TM-AC.com in Baton Rouge. TM, like Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com in Baton Rouge. NOLAAC.com in New Orleans. Total Maintenance taking care of you. Unless, of course, Fletcher Mackel called and they'd say, we don't have anybody available today. Fletcher,
is that what they would say?
That's what they'd say. They wouldn't want to service you, Fletch.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they complained last time they went. You didn't want to pay them. You beat them down on the price. They were really upset.
So.
All right. Anyway, Corey making up stuff about Fletcher Mackel. More lies. Next break, we talk about his arson habit at the old folks' home after chaining the doors shut. All right, Fletch. Paris bound for 3 weeks. You're going to be doing mostly sports, but some stuff that's not sports, just sort of human interest stuff.
Yeah, so the way it works is obviously it's a huge worldwide event, so they bring in reporters from all over, and it's obviously a great deal, and I feel like an honor to be picked. So again, it could be anything. And just for example, my brother went to Rio in South Korea in 16 and 18 for the summer, and then the Winter Olympics to cover that.
Yep.
And like you could be doing a preview of a big event. Like, hey, guess what? It's women's gymnastics and I'm doing a preview report. It could be a post-game report if somebody makes history, or it could be like a news event. Like I always give this example. Back in 2016 at the Rio Olympics, Ryan Lochte and some swimmers for Team USA got in some trouble because they broke like a sign at a bar when they were out one night. And so the Brazilian police actually arrested them. So Travers spent 2 days at like some rando courthouse in Brazil because he goes to like some lawyer from the consulate because the swimmers had been, arrested because they damaged property. And so he goes, it could truly be anything. You're just basically a general assignment Olympics reporter. And so you could be covering anything from the actual pre-event, post-event, or just kind of something happening in the city.
Well, let's hope it's something about like the father teaching the kid how to skate or whatever. Not skate, but, run track or whatever. And you're covering that and not your brother going, I'm here and I'm in some courthouse for 2 days. Really? Yeah, Travers was probably like enough of this.
You said, the families. And also, too, look, they did say if you have something that you really want to cover. So I've kind of earmarked women's beach volleyball because one of the players, Kristen Nuss, is born St. Dominic, Mount Carmel, LSU, so a hardcore New Orleanian, and so if she has a chance to be on the medal stand, I've kind of put that bug in their ear that I would appreciate getting to cover that.
Man, there's not too many of those, huh? Like Lovell, the sailor, Tappan, the swimmer. How many Olympians are from around here, Fletch?
Yeah, look, you got a good memory. We just did a story with Johnny Lovell, Olympic silver medalist in 2004 in Athens. The Southern Yacht Club has 4 Olympic medalists in their history. Ashley Tappan is the same age as me. I grew up with her. 3-time Olympic medalist. And she's great. Aaliyah Hobbs is a sprinter from McMaine. And so, but you're right. We don't have, football. You think of like all, the Marshall Folks and the Ed Reeds and the Mannings and all these amazing talents from the New Orleans metro area, but we are not. I mean, again, we've got great Olympians, but not like how maybe Florida, California, Texas have these summer Olympians that it's like dozens and dozens, if not hundreds. So yeah, our Olympic, pool is a little more shallow than maybe our NFL pool.
Fletcher Mackel's with us for a few more minutes on a Fridays with Fletch. All right, Fletch, you want to shift gears?
Yeah, let's do it.
And before we end it, we'll get the complete Channel 6 coverage, all your Olympic stuff where folks can check out. Hey, the Tulane bubble, man. They're supposed to have broken ground on this about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. The bubble was supposed to be done in August. If you go drive by the Riley Center, nothing's going on out there at all, Fletcher. That just... that John Summerall may not say anything about that, but he's not liking that. He took the job knowing he'd have an indoor bubble this fall for his football team, this regular season, and now that's not happening. And I don't think that's a good signal. I don't think that's a good sign. I think that's a little X on the box that John Summerall already has, at the very least, subconsciously, if not consciously, about the gig where he hasn't even coached a game yet.
Yeah, and again, if you have more intel than I do, I know obviously it was something that was talked about. Willie Fritz left here. Troy Gannon talked a big game about getting this built and shovels in the ground, and it was all a bunch of nonsense and sprinkling fairy dust, and telling people the magic was going to happen, and it never did. And I come on your show, and I've told you this before, that, again, Troy Gannon, I felt like was a snake oil salesman who was promising things that never came to fruition.
Look at him now. Fletch, what is he into his 3rd gig in 2 years?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think they need something. I've told you this before. I don't think I think it's a temporary bubble type facility on that turf field in front of the Riley Center is a horrible idea.
They're talking $7 million and breaking ground soon. Have it done by December now instead of August or September.
Well, I think it's a terrible idea because I think they should use the Rosen parking lot on the other side of the baseball field and it would be an absolutely amazing spot for an entire indoor complex. I feel like that should be the long-term vision, not some short-term, short-sighted, get us just a little silly bubble right now. I don't know. I just feel like that's the wrong way to go. I've always felt like that's the wrong way to go. So the other thing I'll say is about John Summerall, who I love and think is amazing. Yep. I'm worried at this point. Not worried. I'd be happy for Tulane. I think John Summerall is going to have this team in the playoffs this season. That Tulane's going to win the American. Wow. Cincinnati's gone. Central Florida's gone. Houston's gone. SMU's gone now. To me, it's Tulane or San Antonio, and it's going to be Tulane. I think they could get into the playoffs, which could have Power 5 teams like, Florida if they move on Napier, or Kentucky if Stoops eventually takes a job coming in. And that's my concern more is not the bubble for John Summerall. It's that I think John Summerall is a truly elite coach that is skyrocketing right now. And my concern is that if he gets that concern, because if Tulane gets into the playoffs in year one, it's amazing. Yeah. But that if he could be a potential one and done here.
Fletch, when I was a kid, the Saints sucked. And then I remember this, all right? Bum Phillips cuts Doc Kovac, this linebacker. The Niners picked him up just because the Saints were trying to slip him through waivers and re-sign him, and they didn't even want him. So I was like, in my whole lifetime, I was like, wow, another team picked up a Saints player we cut. That's what I was thinking, we as a fan. Then the Mora era came about, coaches getting hired off the staff, players getting cut, picked up by other teams, like every cut down to the final 53 or whatever it was back then, 45, 48, these 4, 5, 6 players getting picked up by other teams. I was like, that's a good problem to have. So Summerall being coveted and getting whisked away after a year or two, if you're a Tulane fan, you kind of want that. You know what I mean? Do you want the perfect scenario where he does really great, not quite good enough to get hired away, 9 wins, and he needed to win 10 that year to get the – sure, and I want, a bag of money and a trip to Europe. But, reality, you want him hired away, right?
Sure. I mean, and again, look, I would love to think that he wants to stay here and romanticize it about, he's staying here forever. He loves it and just wants to be here. Yeah. But I don't think that is the case. And I don't think he came here thinking that was the case. So, yeah, look, I hope he's here longer than one season. But I think if Ty Thompson is as good as people think he is, then this team could be really good this year. They could get into a playoff game and maybe win a game. And that's going to have Power 5. I hate to use the term vultures, but Power 5 power brokers ready to line up and pay him the Brinks truck to get him to their school.
It's so funny. I see this chart somewhere online. You probably saw it. Top 50 defensive tackles in college football. Just somebody's, ranking. Tulane has not 1 but 2 on the list. LSU has none. I'm like, how ironic is that? LSU's, biggest weakness right now is interior D-line, and Tulane has not 1 but 2, arguably in the top 50. Hey, real quick, Fletch, I know you don't like the bubble idea, and I'm not arguing if it's a good idea or not, but it's something they were going to build. I had Harris on the show saying when it was going to get done. I had John Summerall excited about it. So it does matter. He's expecting it, and now it's not happening. If I'm Tulane, the bubble's already built. I'm building it with a sense of urgency, and I'm not waiting to the end of the year or early next year. I'm already doing this, football complex thing, this $50-60 million Title IX / football complex. I don't know why Tulane does this pause and wait and what can we get away with gimmick. They've been burned too many times in the past doing that. They lost Willie Fritz arguably because of that crap.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Midcity and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you. It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Fantasy Friday. Cha-ching edition of the program. The weekend is upon us. Yeah, Green Wave fans, John Sumrall has not coached a game yet, and I would think at the very least subconsciously, if not consciously, like on a sheet of paper, pros and cons, like down the road, could be a year. Tulane has a great year this year. They're coming after John Sumrall. Tulane has a couple of good years in a row. They're coming after John Sumrall. In reality, you want schools coming after John Sumrall. That means he's being ridiculously successful at Tulane. But when it comes time to make that decision, Tulane has already dropped the ball once. If Tulane would have had that indoor bubble built, and back then it was about $3 to $5 million on that little 70-yard strip of turf right in front of the Riley Center on Yeoman Way, I think is the name of the street, named after Yeoman's wife, right there off of Willow. If that bubble were there and ground was broken on this $50+ million football complex, in parentheses, Title IX compliance complex, it's a football complex, Willie Fritz might still be at Tulane. Now, I know that's all water under the bridge now, and no one's thinking about Willie Fritz at all. It's almost like a good riddance, and shouldn't be that way. Think about the Cotton Bowl and what he did. The ending didn't go well, and how he left wasn't nice. But so water under the bridge. Everyone's focused on John Sumrall, as they should be, and a positive vibe. This guy just appears to be a winner. Just a coup, a great hire by Tulane. I mean, hard to go from Willie Fritz to someone that feels like they can do the same thing, even take it up a level, and Sumrall appears to be that guy. So it's exciting times with Tulane football. But my God, did they not get the message on Ben Weiner Drive that Willie Fritz arguably left because you weren't building these facilities fast enough? Sure, think about where football was and where it is now and all the stuff you gave Willie and everything he asked for. And sure, you did do that. That's how you got to winning, but it needed to continue. He's not doing it for poops and giggles. He's doing it to compete against the competition, to keep winning, to get to the Cotton Bowl again against USC. Might have been the greatest college football game I ever watched in my life. Some amazing. No, the bubble, they haven't even broken ground on it yet at Tulane. They were supposed to back in like May, and it was supposed to be finished for like August. So in John Sumrall's mind, not my mind, in Tulane head football coach John Sumrall's mind, I'm going to have a 70-yard indoor bubble practice facility in New Orleans when the weather gets crappy, 100 yards away, right there. Hey, guys, we got a thunder shower coming in. It's New Orleans. You see how these things pop up out of nowhere? Indoor facility right now. Not missing a beat. Hell, Sumrall might be going, pump those legs. Let's go. Let's sprint to the facility, getting something out of the 100 yards. Instead, it's load up on a bus, see if the Saints facility, the dome's available, going to go into Fogelman and cut back the practice. So this regular season, season 1 for John Sumrall, he's expecting to have this indoor bubble, an indoor football facility. It doesn't exist. Haven't even broken ground on it. If Tulane's lucky and they bust their tail, maybe by bowl season, they'll have it ready. Maybe by Christmas, maybe. And then this Wilson Center edition, or this football complex, 50+ mil, 60 million Title IX compliance facility. Haven't broken ground on that. No timetable, no plan set for breaking ground January 2025. Early 2025 is what's been said, but the bubble was early summer, but finished before the fall, and they haven't broken ground yet, and we're heading towards August. So these are the kind of things when John Sumrall, when most likely, not if, when John Sumrall has success uptown and other schools come calling, like Southeastern Conference schools. These are the things that John Sumrall say, yeah, Tulane did that to Willie and doing it to me, and just these delays and got to jump through hurdles. And they say it's going to be done in 6 months. It took a year. Said it's going to be a year. It took 2. Said they'd have the fundraising. Haven't started yet. It said they would have broke ground. Haven't broken ground. Whatever. He's going to think about these things. So I'm Tulane, which I'm pro Tulane. I'm getting that bubble built as quickly as possible. Not, with the materials were hard to get and now it delayed it. Let's go. Chop, chop. Sense of urgency. Not slow. Not, we'll get to it. It's New Orleans. Again, John Sumrall's flying out the door. Could be one and done. Could have a great year this year and be done. a chance to win the American Athletic with some teams leaving and bringing in QB and having a great defensive line. And then this coach that's dynamic and winning game plan. Tulane could slip in the playoffs or something. It could be a one and done for John Sumrall. No, I'm Tulane. I'm building that bubble yesterday. I've already broken ground on this football complex, $50-60 million. I am approaching football and John Sumrall with a sense of urgency, kissing his rear end at a very aggressive pace. Fantasy Friday edition of the program, 5 o'clock power hour. Uh-oh, here comes some headlines down the wire. Blue Boy with the report. What Blue Boy? Jeffrey Vappy indicted today. Former NOPD officer, former mayor, executive detail cop, that guy, Jeffrey Vappy, a federal indictment. Wow. Yale have the details next. And the 10 Commandments can't go up in classrooms. Blue Boy, I thought this was Fantasy Friday. Scot Craig from Katie's will join us. Stick around, New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hassendampf Incorporated. We're gonna do it.
Oh, no, we're not.
Any chance we'll take it. With any rule we'll break it. We're gonna
Management said something about running Laverne and Shirley reruns today during the 5 o'clock power hour. And I told management, you can take that idea and jam it directly where something to do where the sun doesn't shine. And then management told me, you're fired. And I told them, you're fired. And then I walked out of there. They gave me an ugly look. I laughed at them, and I came down to the Buddy Deliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios and said, I'm doing this program because there's a lot to discuss on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Former NOPD officer, part of Mayor LaToya Cantrell's executive detail, Jeffrey Vappy, has been indicted by a 22-person federal grand jury, 7 counts of wire fraud, 1 count false statement, lying to the feds. Speaking of the feds, the Eastern District of Louisiana, the United States Attorney's Office, a media release, former NOPD officer, member of Executive Protection Unit, charged federally with wire fraud and making false statements. This is from just a few hours ago. U.S. Attorney Dwayne Evans announced that Jeffrey Paul Vappy II, age 52, a resident of New Orleans, was indicted today on 7 counts of wire fraud in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 1343, for perpetrating a scheme to defraud the New Orleans Police Department. Vappy was additionally indicted for making false statements to agents with the Federal Bureau of Investigation in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 1001A2. According to the indictment, Vappy was a New Orleans Police Department officer from April 97 until his resignation in June 2024. Vappy was assigned to serve as a member of the Executive Protection Unit, EPU, Executive Protection Unit, responsible for providing personal protection for the mayor and the city of New Orleans. At least as early as November 2021, Vappy and Public Official 1 that is Mayor LaToya Cantrell, developed and carried on a personal and romantic relationship. Vappy attempted to disguise this relationship by making his interaction with public official one appear related to Vappy's duties and responsibilities as a member of EPU. In doing so, Vappy submitted false time cards to NOPD in which he claimed to be working when in fact he was engaged in personal activities, including carrying on a personal and romantic relationship with public official one. Vappy took other steps to further and conceal the scheme to defraud. For example, among these personal activities, Vappy spent substantial time inside an apartment owned by the city of New Orleans to which public official one had access. Additionally, he ate meals and consumed alcohol with public official one, all while being paid to work as a member of EPU. Vappy also traveled on purported work-related trips with a public official one, paid for by the city of New Orleans. Vappy and public official one exchanged personal and romantic messages and photographs via an encrypted instant messaging application to avoid detection and continue their relationship. This exchange of messages and photographs occurred as Vappy continued to claim only a professional relationship with public official one and continued to serve as a member of EPU. Near the conclusion of an NOP administrative investigation into his alleged wrongdoing, Vappy attempted to influence the interim superintendent of the New Orleans Police Department into exonerating him. During an interview with FBI agents at Vappy's residence on July 14th, 2023, Vappy made several false statements, including that Vappy did not have and had never had a physical or romantic relationship with public official one, that Vappy had never kissed public official one, and that Vappy had never told public official one that Vappy loved public official one. For each count of wire fraud, Vappy faces up to 20 years in prison, up to 3 years of supervised release, up to $250,000 fine, and a $100 mandatory special assessment fee. With the false statement count, Vappy faces up to 5 years in prison, up to 3 years of supervised release, up to a $250,000 fine, and a $100 mandatory special assessment fee. U.S. Attorney Evans reiterated that an indictment is merely a charge and that the guilt of the defendant must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. U.S. Attorney Evans praised the work of the FBI in investigating this matter and expressed appreciation for the support provided by the City of New Orleans Office of Inspector General and the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Jordan Ginsburg, Chief of the Public Integrity Unit, and Nicholas D. Moses, and the Financial Crime Unit and Healthcare Coordinator are in charge of the prosecution. That's from the federal government. That's from the United States Attorney's Office, the Eastern District of Louisiana. Former NOPD officer, member of the Executive Protection Unit, Jeffrey Vappy, charged federally with wire fraud and making false statements. 7 counts of wire fraud, 1 count false statement lying to the feds. Gordon Russell of the Times-Picayune today. This is how crazy this situation is. The feds are suggesting LaToya Cantrell didn't appoint Michelle Woodfork as the NOPD chief in part because she okayed discipline against Jeffrey Vappy. How mind-blowing is this? First black female mayor is about to make it permanent. The first black NOPD chief, already has her in as interim chief. This is LaToya Cantrell's choice, Michelle Woodfork. Until Michelle Woodfork got thrown into this quagmire of the mayor having a romantic relationship with Jeffrey Vappy and the mayor telling Woodfork to back off. And Woodfork, you got to respect her integrity. You got to give Woodfork credit. She's sitting there going, man, I'm the interim chief. I got the lead to getting the full-time gig. I've publicly stated as much. I'm the mayor's choice. And now the mayor has put me in a ridiculously terrible spot. Do what she says and lay off of Officer Vappy. Don't discipline him. I probably get the superintendent's gig. At least I'll be her choice. Or do what I'm supposed to do. 30 years as a cop, integrity. I mean, I'm trying to be the chief. I better act as the chief. I got to discipline Vappy. And that's exactly what Michelle Woodfork did. You got to give her credit. A lot of pressure to go the other way. She did the right thing. Yes, and I give her credit because a superintendent's gig was on the line and she lost it arguably because of that. Gordon Russell, Times-Picayune, the feds are suggesting Cantrell didn't appoint Michelle Woodfork NOPD chief in part because she okayed discipline against Jeffrey Vappy. This thing is a soap opera. C. Ray Nagin 2.0. I would think within the next few weeks, sometime in August, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell will be indicted as well for taking gifts, money, things of value in return of favors to different people and favors that only her role as mayor of the city could those favors have been granted. Wow. Former NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy indicted today. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, even on a Fantasy Friday, got to give you the real deal, the real stories. Hey, when we come back, Scot Craig from Katie's in Midcity. Yeah, you're right. Joins us next.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scot Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Midcity.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Every Friday, a little after 5 o'clock, we blow that 5 o'clock whistle. I like the 5 o'clock whistle, putting that spotlight on this very moment of the week. 100% of the work week in the books, 100% of the weekend smack dab in front of you. We blow the 5 o'clock whistle, and it's always appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? That's the question. Iberville, corner Talamacus. More is better. More of the good things. New Orleans specialties, a taste of the Crescent City. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Don't forget about Sunday brunch. Katie's, Mid-City. Speaking of, Scot Craig joins us from Katie's again on the program. What up, Scott?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm starting to get my voice back. My doctor, Dr. Bridget Boudreau, is my ENT. I've had this ridiculous sinus infection, but I got a shot today. I'm feeling better.
Good, man. Thank goodness. Got to keep those specials and goodies rolling at Katie's. What's on the menu tonight?
Oh, man. We are rolling. Specials have been a lot of fun. We are doing.
I don't know, Scott. How you going to beat last week's Flounder and Pompano? How you going to beat that?
Well, we did the Pompano and Papio last week. It was absolutely incredible. That came out really, really good. This week we're doing hog head cheese melted on top of a fried soft shell crab with grits. Try that out sometimes. Unbelievable. Baked scallops, coquille St. Jacques. That's a baked scallop in a dish with a mushroom bechamel, sort of. It's a light bechamel. It's a little bit of cream sauce with nice little crunchies on top. Absolutely delicious. Glazed pork tenderloin with new potatoes. This pork tenderloin is melt in your mouth pork tenderloin. I know it's just pork tenderloin, but Joey killed it. It's so good. Today we did a smoked French dip, which is it's the Maroni out at Bienvenue, We do smoked prime rib on French, but today we did it with pepper jack cheese and a little horseradish cream sauce.
And what, there's an au jus you're dipping that into?
Yes, sir. We did a nice au jus with it.
Wow.
I actually had one. It was killer.
Wow.
Andouille cheese grits are back at Katie's on Sunday. We're doing the stuffed apple pie waffle on Sunday. That was a big hit. And this weekend we're doing pimento cheese char grilled oysters. We got a lot of fun. Another fun menu this weekend.
Wow. What's happening out on the lakefront at Francesca, the deli over there on Harrison Avenue in between Canal Boulevard and West End?
Well, today is Seafood Friday. We do a lot of seafood, and we do our famous seafood gumbo. I'll put our seafood gumbo against anybody.
What's in that?
It's really we do it with crab meat, oysters, and shrimp. But the oysters are ground up, and we actually use the oyster water from the gallons that you get oysters in. We use the oyster water in the actual roux.
Wow.
So it's really, really good. It's a great gumbo. Can't take credit for the recipe. That's my dear friend Scott Lindsay, Chef Knuckles, as we call him at the deli. He's one of the most amazing pot cooks I've ever been around. The guy can cook anything, and he's very talented. He's worked at some great places over the years, and he just likes working at Francesca because it's laid back. It's not high pressure. That's what he likes to do. He's a little bit older now, and that's what he likes to do. So I'm lucky to have Scotty out there.
Yep. Open till about 8 o'clock tonight. Go get a cup of gumbo to start, and then grab a po' boy, grab a St. Louis style sandwich, deli sandwich, make your own, slice of pizza.
Yeah, it's going well, man. I mean, summertime's tough, Corey. It's a real tough time of year for restaurants. You need to support your local restaurants, everyone.
Yeah.
Not just me, everybody.
No, you're right.
We need you right now. The chains have a lot of money behind them. The chains will be fine. But you need to support your local restaurants. It's tough in the summer.
No,
really
it is. You need to be proactive about it, folks. Like proactive, like right. Scott's saying, like think about it. Let's go out tonight and hit a local New Orleans restaurant.
Yes. Yeah, it's super important, you want to keep us around. That's what we need. The summers are tough.
Yeah.
And, last summer was brutal. And this summer doesn't seem like it's starting out much better. I was hoping it would be a lot better because we've got more conventions this summer. From what I understand, we only had 2 conventions last summer in July and August. And this year, I think we have 13. So we'd like to feel some of that, people visiting our wonderful city. It's making a comeback. Crime's way down. Everything's going well.
Yeah. It is. We're making a comeback.
Talking about this, New Orleans will always survive.
No, of course. We'll always survive. We're a European masterpiece. We the ebbs and flows don't affect us that much. The highs don't affect us that much. The lows don't. We just kind of keep cruising. But no, New Orleans is turning now. Crime's down. The positives are happening. It's either get on board that train or be a negative, cynical jerk and stay away from the city. I choose to jump on board that train. I've always been on that train.
You and I had that conversation about 6 months ago.
Yep.
And I said, look, man, this city's going to come back. This city's just going through a rough time. We've been through this a million times over. We had 450 murders in 1994. We had the Pizza Kitchen murders. We had a friend of mine being murdered leaving Parkway Town. We had car break-ins. We had everything. It's no different. We will be all right. And I'm not making light of it because I know some people have been affected by it. But we just need to not give up on New Orleans.
Oh, of course. And the people, the naysayers out in the parish that don't come into New Orleans anymore, change that mindset. You're living in denial. You're fooling yourself. You're hitting the same 5 restaurants in Metairie over and over again. Come on to New Orleans. There are 500 of them. It's I'm not knocking Metairie. I'm just saying, get out of that, don't cross the 17th Street Canal mentality. It's not safe, all that nonsense. It is.
Orleans made us all who we are.
Yep, exactly. It's Metro New Orleans, Metairie wouldn't exist, North Shore wouldn't exist. Hey, Scott, we hear it on the commercial in this program. It came out about 15 months ago, a year ago, this USA Today top 10, this, if you're a tourist visiting New Orleans, it wasn't like saying the best restaurants, like, going all high end, Brightson's, Le Petit Grocery, Clancy's type of thing. And it wasn't like po' boy shops, it was just everything from po' boy shops to the high end, 10 restaurants you have to go to if you're a tourist visiting New Orleans. And Katie's in Midcity made that arbitrary USA Today list. No local connections, no nothing. Just someone from outside got some good info and had Katie's on that list. What has that meant to Katie's besides just some national recognition? I'm assuming you've had some people roll in from out of state, first time ever coming to Katie's, and it was because of the USA Today article.
Corey, we've been blessed with so many things. That one was really, really special. And when I heard about it, I was like, wow. But that one was really, really special. And I have to give credit to my management, my staff. I've just got wonderful people around me. But answering your question, it's hard to tell what that meant to Katie's because, we've had so many things, not just like that, but we've been on so many Food Network shows and the Travel Channel, and I've done so many shows, like with, say, Guy Fieri. And, when I did Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, when we did Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Guy back in 2010.
Wow.
It was right after we reopened, and it gave us a leg up right away. And you can't buy that kind of advertisement. I was blown away at how many people watched that show and what a big deal that show has been for 15 years, and how wonderful Guy Fieri's been to the hospitality industry all over the country. That was a big deal too, and we also had Homer Simpson come to Katie's.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
That's the best montage ever.
It was like, are you kidding me?
And it's authentic. Authentic and real.
Right. All of the blessings that we've gotten over the years attribute to why we're doing pretty well,
Yep.
I've been very fortunate. So that's to answer your question.
Yeah, I mean, the USA Today guy obviously got a good info. I'm assuming Harry Shearer got with like Brian Batt and other buddies of his that know New Orleans, and they came up with that Simpsons montage that Katie's was in. Hey, Scott, always a pleasure, brother. Katie's in Midcity, Francesca out on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. We'll catch up again soon.
All right, I really appreciate it, brother. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's go get a steak.
Let's do it.
That's
City, baby.
Yeah, you're right.
See you
Broad Street. That's Scot Craig from Katie's in Midcity. Francesca out on Harrison Avenue. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program.